Lately we've done a lot of renovations on the house, from new furniture to making the kitchen bigger, and one of the things was removing the old floors and put new tiles in. And since that we were at it, we decided to put floor heating. Now all the pipes that run under the floor, they're all meeting in one central point that is also connected to the electricity. And beside these points, we decided to leave also a small radiator. Because it's really not nice to look at it, I decided to build some sort of cover that manages to close up everything, radiators and all those pipes that come to one place. Like every other woodworking project, you try, first of all, you make the design, you figure out how much wood you need, and then you try to use as much scrap as you can. Believe it or not, out of all the parts that I actually needed to cut, this was the only piece that I could use out of scrap. The rest had to be all bought new. So this is 15mm hardwood plywood, and I'm going to make the top now, and I'm gonna put two panels one on top of each other to make it a little bit thicker. I'm using parallel clamps first, so that when I put one on top of each other, one piece on top of each other, it'll stay nice and parallel, so it's not gonna slide because the glue that is in the middle is gonna make it all wobbly. So parallel clamp will keep it nice and firm, and then I'm gonna put lots of clamps all over around to keep it closed. Now that it's dried, I removed all of the clamps, and I need to make a small, that's an understatement. I need to make a notch, and that's because if you saw at the beginning of the video where the radiator is placed on the right side, there are two pipes that are going through the top of the house. This way the pipes will go right at the back. Now I'm gonna make the two notches for the front of the cover, precisely for the left and right part that will go right above the wall skirt that is on the floor. And here is where I start marking where the horizontal parts of the cover will be connected, and where the biscuits will be inserted. This is the part where I had no idea what I was doing. I decided to connect this part with biscuits with biscuits, and I don't have a biscuit jointer or those fancy little thing. I just have an old router, and I said, well, how wrong can it go? Didn't really seem that dangerous, and to be honest, at the end, kind of worked out. Just putting enough glue in case the hole perhaps was slightly too large, but once the glue was inside, the biscuits just fitted really nicely in. And of course, the part that we all love to do, a bit of sanding. Now the front frame is kind of made. Now we're going to put the rails to it, and I decided to sand them before I put them on. It's just easier this way. I put a straight water compass on one side and clamped it down. That way I would put every rail against the water compass, and that way I know that is always each rail start always at the same point. Now the first one I only put one nail. That way I can pivot it on the other side to make sure that it is is perfectly aligned with the bottom side of the rail. Once I was happy and everything is square, just put another nail and finish it up. And for the rest, I would put a spacer. The spacer is 12mm, just a piece of scrap wood. And then butt the second with some glue, but the second piece against the spacer, and continue to repeat part after part. And once you get used to it, it actually gets really fast. Just moving the spacer to the next one and put the next rail. And this is after all the rails are in. Now those are the two parts that I cut at the very beginning out of the only piece of scrap wood that I actually had, and those are going to be two little wings that go on the side of the front frame, and those sides have, well, two purposes. One, they will help holding the top, and two, they will help hooking this entire frame against the back wall of where it's going to be placed. And again, these are going to be installed using biscuits. Now to the system of how I'm going to hook this to the wall. It's a clipping system. The idea is rather easy. You have two parts. One goes against the frame and one goes against the wall. You close them to each other. You push them in and it'll click in place. There it goes, just like that. So I'm just marking on the wall precisely where I need to drill the holes. And I don't know if you've seen my previous video about hanging the two kitchen cupboards. So there is no studs behind this wall. Those are stone walls. So pretty much I can drill anywhere I like, and then just add those nylon plasticky thingies and put the screw into it. Now this is the top with the notch cut out, and just putting a little chamfer on the front side of the top. I think it'll probably look a little bit better. And a little coat of some sort of oil. Now this is something that is very often used to put on kitchen chopping boards. Since the color of the furniture in the house is always decided by the wife, I asked her what she wanted, if she wanted to have it completely painted or if she wanted something darker, and gave her 3-4 options, and that's what she chose. Now here I had to be a little bit inventive, because the way I wanted to put the top on top of the frame was also by a clicking system. The problem is, when I went to buy the clicking system, I didn't really think it through. You can only put one thing on top of each, well, not one thing on top of each other. They can only go one way when you click them together. So I had to create those little spacer, and here you see one, but I actually did 3 of them, so that I can put one part of these clicky things against that spacer, and then the other one against the top, which in this part of the video is actually upside down, so the top is at the bottom. And this is a little screw that you can you can make it a little bit tighter. There's a spring, it's spring loaded inside, so the tighter you put the screw, and the tighter will the clicky thingy be. Just marking where the holes for the bottom part needs to be. And tightening it down. You didn't see in the video, but I actually have 3 of them. One in the middle, which was the one I just installed, and then 2 on the sides. And that is basically it. All you have to do now is pushing it down, and that was it. Yeah, I guess my wife needs to rethink her scarf situation. Just look at how my jacket fits perfectly there. So that was it. The before and after, and thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Bye bye.